Hello, welcome back to the channel. I'm Erica, and this is going to be the start of a series of videos for an outfit that I'm pretty excited about. I'm probably going to say that a lot. I'm excited about pretty much all of what I'm making, but this one was a challenge and it was a lot of fun. So I'm delving into the bustle gowns. I believe this one was the early bustle period, and I needed a new chemise and corset for those. So I'm going to start with those two. I am going to try not to drag this out for months and months on end. I really miss getting videos up, but I just don't know how this is going to look. So part of the fun part of this project was back in the early days of me beginning to collect fabrics from thrift stores, there wasn't as many options initially as I found later, and so I ended up getting some upholstery fabric that I really liked. Some I liked better than others, and I figured it would be a cheap way for me to play and figure things out. I think the first two upholstery rolls that I got were about $5 at the store that Habitat for Humanity does to raise money, and it was two rolls that were striped, and they screamed bustle gown to me standing in the store. So even though one of them wasn't my favorite, I really liked the other one a lot more. I grabbed both of them. Again, I think they were like $5 for the roll, and I figured, you know, I'll just have fun, and if it turns out into something I really don't like, I didn't waste a whole lot of money on it. And so this one, I tackled the fabric I liked the least first because I wanted to challenge myself, for one, to see if I could turn it into something that I really like. Also, I found a tablecloth at another thrift store that I thought paired really well with it. I cannot talk today. And I wanted to challenge myself to see if I could make it not look like I was wearing the dining room. So this is where we find ourselves. This video is the chemise. I'm going to do the corset. Hopefully those will go out rather quickly. I did film these a while ago. Both of these I ended up wearing in the reveal video or the showcase video for the Worth gown. So they have been viewed on this channel, but this is the first the videos went up. But I really made them more for future stuff. And so without further ado, let's see if we can wear the dining room and make it look good. For the chemise, I used this very light linen that is a lot lighter than the linen I used for my first chemise, and I liked this better. It didn't feel quite as bulky, and I had already washed it, which is why that edge was serged, because linen frays very easily. So the first thing to do was to take all the yoke pieces and sew them together at the shoulder seams, and then put the lace on the front. This also was for the lining of this as well, and all of the edges were stay stitched. And then once the lace was on, right sides were pinned together. It was turned out except for the bottom edges that met with the body of the chemise, and then that was put aside. The sides were not sewn together yet. It was just the top portion and the lining. Once the yoke was turned right side out, the top portion of the body of the chemise that goes up over the bust is gathered to fit the hole, and then those whole pieces are pinned to the front and the back, right sides together, to the yoke. Not to the lining part of the yoke, but to the front part of the yoke. The side seams were not sewn together until last. Oh, and the back was also gathered as well. And then that is all stitched down, and then I flipped it the lining back down and then hand stitched it down. Okay, it does look like I went ahead and sewed the side seams together before I hand stitched down the lining. Those were done as French seams, so I sewed them wrong sides together, trimmed it down, turned it around, flipped it back the other way, and then sewed it back down at another quarter inch. It was a quarter-inch seam. And then I hand whipped the lining down. After all of that, began the process of sewing down all the tucks at the bottom for decoration and doing the hem, which I sewed some lace to and then ran a ribbon through that lace. The hem is just a turn and turn hem. The linen is super easy to work with, so I didn't even pin it. I just turned it as I went. For the two buttonholes at the front of the chemise, I used my treadle machine with my buttonholer. I didn't need to do that, but I love using that, and it is a lot of fun to do buttonholes that way, and I love how the buttonholes turned out. There are two buttonholes, and then I hand sewed two blue buttons there to match the blue ribbon at the bottom, and I love that detail. I did put it in the description of this video, but I used the Laughing Moon Mercantile Ladies Victorian Underwear number 100 pattern for this. This chemise has 3 different ways to make it. I chose the sleeveless option for what I am doing, but it was a very simple pattern. I liked how they showed the pictures and did the instructions, and I definitely think that if you are just starting, this is a good pattern to start with. This is the first Laughing Moon pattern that I've ever used, and I really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to show you in a second. Okay, so here it is. I love it. It's so comfortable. This detail turned out really pretty. Same thing with the neckline. I love the pop of blue buttons that match the blue ribbon. It's just not really much to show other than it's really comfortable. I think very pretty, and it's a lot less bulky than my previous one. So on to the corset.